Well, since you probably already know, it is a little bit it kind of starts out with um, in my opinion, the biggest title.
Ooh, Campfire.
Yeah, Campfire the game.
Wait a minute.
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant.
What?
And only the dominant.
How do we even know the girl will be among us?
Our kind do not question orders. We follow them.
I see chocobos. Oh shit!
Sergeant, let's summon their icon.
Ooh.
That thing's a bloody man.
That's the team from Yoshida.
Ooh.
Our foe will not relinquish their mother crystal easily.
That voice should sound familiar too.
This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
Okay, I'm into it.
You refuse. Did you not pledge
That's some
your
gameplay.
souls to our cause?
Oh, fuck that! No! No!
What does it
I hate those!
It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without
Yeah.
the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
Wait. Alright, Mr. Dragoon, I see you.
Yeah. Looks really awesome, that animation.
Yeah.
Imperial Vipers. Do they really
Oh,
mean
what a
to-
surprise. The Imperials are the bad guys.
Right? Hey, I didn't know I was in this video game.
Are you laughing at the kid being sprayed with blood?
No, I'm laughing at my joke. That was horrible about that, whatever that one enemy was. That, large boned one, we'll say.
Uh-huh.
Second light on the fire.
An infernal?
That's impossible.
Oh. Oh.
The legacy of the crystals.
Ooh. Okay, I'm hyped.
Has shaped our history.
Yeah, so good.
Ooh, I saw Phoenix.
I've watched this trailer a bit more than I probably should have.
It's really nice.
Enough.
Oh, okay. So we have a little defying tradition in this story.
Yeah.
That's
I'm pretty sure this game's gonna be rated M.
really.
Yeah.
I'll kill you.
He's kind of cute.
If it's
Ooh,
the
he's
last
really
thing I
cute.
do.
Now, the character design should look familiar.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm psyched.
Now, keep in mind, that was from the PC. That wasn't even from PlayStation 5. They couldn't get the actual PlayStation 5 on there. This is also coming to PC. They took from... It looked amazing, so that's not even... That is the low
depending
quality.
Depending on the build, though, PC games can look pretty damn good.
I know, but that's the low quality of that game.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm pumped.
Hello, peoples.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Kool Killington,
I'm Cute.
and we are doing a Fireside Chat.
Yes, so we are doing a new format where we basically ramble on about a particular subject for about half an hour.
Yes.
And what better way to kickstart this series than the recent announcement for PS5?
My God.
Yes.
Now the first thing, now the day they killed it in the beginning.
Absolutely. That was a very pleasant surprise for me. I was not expecting Final Fantasy 16 to be announced like right now.
Yes. If you which you saw our reaction video just before. Yeah, she was impressed.
I was pumped.
Man, and
Still am.
I do wish I got that first impression with you though. I feel like I talked way too much. I talked way too much, and
because you started watching the event before I was even home from work.
Yes, I am terrible boyfriend.
I just asked him to queue it up in YouTube, and all he did was, I'm just gonna watch the first thing.
1 star out of 10.
Unfortunately, the first thing turned out to be the one thing that I would personally be the most excited about.
The funniest part is she had texted me asking me, is it something I would be interested in? And I'm like, I don't want to say.
Yeah, so this jackass in the reaction video that we recorded had already seen the trailer.
At least twice.
Anyways... Why don't we segue right into what were your initial thoughts of the trailer?
My initial thoughts were, I'm dreaming. This looks awesome. I loved oh my god, the moment I saw the chocobos and the Square Enix
That's
logo.
kind of like how I knew
it was
the Final Fantasy.
I just was... It was insane. It was like so many things were going through my mind. I was like, "Is this going to be like a real sequel?" And the more that I saw, the more I was like, "This has to be a sequel. This can't just be a side Final Fantasy, right?" Like, I mean, this felt like an actual sequel until you saw the logo, and then you're like, "Yes,
yes." I, of course, thought the trailer looked awesome as well. That music, though.
Yes.
That music. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and guess what else? Obviously, we're going to talk about the gameplay, but we're gonna get all that in.
We're gonna get to it.
But the beginning of it, though, showing us the start with. We don't even know his name yet. We just know he's the main character. You know he's the main character because he has main character powers, apparently.
And main character hair.
Yes, main character hair. And he's already a badass. He's doing very Devil May Cry kind of play movement. I mean, yeah, it could be argued that it was Final Fantasy 15 kind of gameplay.
Sort of.
And
I mean,
maybe 7 remake, but it felt like Devil May Cry to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, I don't know. What were your first impressions?
I was completely blown away by it. It looks like it is definitely a return to more of the fantasy setting, which my favorite Final Fantasies over time have been more of that fantasy setting rather than... I mean, I don't mind the more cyberpunkish ones, steampunkish ones, I guess, in Six's case.
Whatever punks ones. Punk hair.
Yeah, but, I mean, if there's castles and stuff, I'm gonna be all for it.
Right? Yeah.
There's lots of magic, even better.
Mm-hmm. It seems like there's quite a bit of magic. But I was surprised to see in the beginning that it seems like it's summon-based more. Or
yes, it does appear to be that way.
It is interesting. So I'm wondering where they're gonna go with this. It's I just want to know more. really.
Yeah.
That was my...
It's like just enough to get us talking and speculating and all those fun things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We're gonna be all like, it feels like Shadowbringers all over again.
Right?
Although I think it started, for me, with the new Final Fantasies, with Heavensward, when we saw the Heavensward trailer, and things started getting so much better with these. Like, I mean, the music, like you said, the music is amazing. It feels like Soken's music, and it's just
it
great.
Does definitely have like a very Final Fantasy 14 feel to it.
Yeah, in Shadowbringers it was very, very like epic. Get you ready for a fight, kind of boss fight kind of thing, which the other Final Fantasies do, but this one felt like more like it was getting you pumped, which you said like a million times.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So now we can get into more speculation territory. Based on what we've seen in that trailer, where do you think the story will go?
I think it's a revenge story. I mean, I think that's kind of obvious, right? At the end, he's like, "I'll kill you if it's the last thing I do." And then they're talking about the crystal and how it shaped their history for long enough, and it feels like such a it's just turning the kind of what normally is narrative in these games on its head and making it different, making it just kind of like I feel like obviously there's different factions in this because we saw some, especially with that dragoon, and they're saying he was an Imperial. That one lady who's clearly a bad guy. She doesn't have the bad guy hair, so she's obviously not the main villain.
But she carried herself a lot like Arden.
Yes, she did. Clearly she's like the big bad that we're supposed to know is the big bad, right?
But there's probably another big bad.
There always is.
Behind her, just like always, yes.
But everybody else in that trailer that she was talking to looks like they get screwed over. I think everybody there does not survive, and those who do survive just end up kind of broken and like our main character, and because it looks like he was a part of some mercenary group. You think in the beginning of the trailer? What do you think?
Yes, that or some sort of army battalion that is sort of sent over to kill Marks, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay, we haven't talked about the Phoenix and the Ifrit fight.
Ooh. Which looks so cool, by the way.
Joshua, the little boy, I don't think he survives, but I also think, I kind of do think he survives, but I do agree with what you were saying. We were talking about earlier when you were talking about how he probably comes back through the main character with the power.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he is gonna get killed. I don't feel like he is going to be a staple character throughout the whole story. I think his death is probably going to be the thing that spurns our main character on to action to start the rest of the story. And it seemed to me, there was a part in the trailer where the main character and Joshua were sort of like touching hands almost, and Joshua's hand glowed first and then the main character's hand glowed. I think our main character might have the ability to sort of channel the powers of all of the different icons. And whereas some of the people who sort of embody each icon may not be so willing to share the powers with him, I think Joshua was. And I think that little scene there was Joshua giving the main character the Phoenix powers.
Yep. And another thing is, I believe that, personally, this goes back towards Devil May Cry. I think every person you fight gives you a power.
That would be pretty cool.
And then hopefully it's like a system to where you can switch between them throughout.
It kind of looks like it is, though.
So that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
It won't
be fun.
Yeah, I am wondering how the MP system's going to be, but I'm not too worried about it. I think it's going to be interesting. It's probably going to stick to this, maybe the big moves have a bar, but the smaller moves can bring up to it. Kind of like a Devil May Cry. Kind of like that. Not 100%. So, yeah. I also think another element to it is going to be it's going to be dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he is our only main character. I have a feeling there's going to be more, but
that is true that of the gameplay that we've seen where it was only that main character fighting, it was, I guess, as his younger self. We don't really see anything from when he's clearly a little bit older.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Which makes me wonder if the very beginning, it's sort of like a one-man show, but then later on, you get more party members.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people were kind of mad because it's not another... It's another game it's another Final Fantasy that's not turn-based. I mean, I loved the turn-based ones. And I do kind of wish they'd go back to it, but I don't...
That doesn't necessarily mean this one is inherently bad.
Yeah. This one's going to be the way it is, and I think that's just the way they're going to go from now on. I mean, I think especially with how the 7 remake has gotten very popular, and people just really love the gameplay in that one. So I think they're going to continue that way of doing it.
Yeah, of all my gripes of the remake, the battle system is not one of them. At least not the general concept of it. What do you want to see from the next Final Fantasy?
Well, I know what I want to hear, and that is good music.
Yeah.
I do not want another dubstep tunnel where I get lost in and I can't stand. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the dubstep, but it's just the song was repetitive. And it was so repetitive that it made me just want to just leave that place. Because sometimes in a Final Fantasy, you want to find a place that you can level, right? You don't want to find a place that's like super obnoxious to level in, or you have to practically mute the TV to do. In other words, I want to see I just want good music through, maybe not throughout. I don't think it has to be, like perfect, obviously. It's just that of late, the recent Final Fantasies have just always seemed to have one or two, like, I feel 14 is kind of excluded. I mean, I feel like 14 does have a few songs, but the ones here and there were just kind of like meh. With just like maybe one or two songs, but it's unfortunate that those songs happen to be in an area where you would travel.
And have to travel multiple times.
Yes.
And potentially get very lost in, and then stay there for hours, and drive your girlfriend absolutely insane while you're playing it.
I don't know who did that.
We will never know. It's a mystery.
Yes. Mystery. Bum, bum, bum. Another thing I want to see is boss battles. Like real boss battles. None of this, hey, let's press a button here, press a button there, kind of boss battle. Dodge, press button, dodge, press button. No, like, intense fights.
Where you have to kind of be like, okay, I need to use this ability here in anticipation of that boss ability, but then I also need to get this ready, and...
Yes.
Okay, they're weak to this, so I need to use that.
Yeah, which I expect is going to be the thing, especially since who's behind it all, which I'm very excited about. But we'll get into that in a minute. What do you want?
Well, one of the things that I would love to see, which I'm already seeing from the trailer, is that return to the fantasy setting, as I already mentioned. And of course, the really good music is something I'm looking forward to. I assume that the rest of the soundtrack is going to be pretty on par with what we heard in the trailer, but also... the thing that I am looking forward to the most is a story that isn't convoluted and stupid. Because I feel like a lot of the more recent Final Fantasies have had not the most fantastic story. And I'm going to kind of include early Realm Reborn in this section, because early Realm Reborn, even after, like, the redo of it, is still kind of a slog.
Yeah.
However, like, level 50 onwards, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it does take a while to get there, though. But it does pick up. And that's the best part.
I'm one of those players where if the story is crap, I'm not going to like the game. It might have the most amazing gameplay ever. I might still not like it because of the story. There's been one exception. One singular exception, and that is Final Fantasy X-2, which has a very silly story. I'll say that. It's very silly. It gets a little weird near the end. But the battle system is actually pretty darn fun. So I like that one for that reason. However, some of the ones that are more recent than that, I haven't really gotten into. Haven't been able to get into them. Just couldn't bring myself to it. Because the story was just meh.
Yes.
I don't think I have to worry about that with this one. I think the story already looks like it's something that I will enjoy. I'm gonna hope it's not too early for me to say that. But given who's working on this, I think it's in pretty good hands.
I think we should finally tell him who is working on it.
Oh, well, we know that the producer, not director, just producer. I'm going to make that distinction because a lot of people seem to be putting a little too much stock in this fact.
I think they did, at least in the beginning. I think they kind of calmed down, but yeah.
But yes, the producer of Final Fantasy XVI is Naoki Yoshida, who is producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, people are sort of assuming that he's kind of taking a directorship role as well, and that is not the case. 16 has a director that is not Yoshi P.
No, it is not. He is a guy who, from what I'm understanding, started from Final Fantasy V. From what he had a statement. Actually, in fact, him and Yoshida had a statement, which it feels like a new concept, but because I know the recent Final Fantasies before this one never really did that. I mean, they did it, but they was very vague, right? Mm-hmm. So now they have a producer and a director who make statements. And if I'm saying his name right, it's Hiroshi.
I think it was Hiroshi Takai.
Hiroshi Takai is correct, yes.
I may have butchered that, and apologies if I have.
Please say so with not so bad, things in the chat, because be nice to us, we're fairly new. We're new, yeah, this is,
We don't do this for a living, guys. We're just regular people.
Yeah.
Playing games, that's what we are.
But back to our director, Hiroshi Takai. He, from what I understand, he did Last Remnant, which I never really got to play, but I heard it got it's really big on people's lists of games to play on Xbox as well as PC. I think it's on PS4 now. He also has worked with 14 and 11.
Yes.
But with 14, I believe I don't know when he started with 14, but we've seen him in some of the live letters. And he's just really funny from what I remember. And at least when I saw a screenshot, I remember that live letter in particular. Don't ask me to remember it now, but I do. I think it was FanFest 2014. And I think he was like, he was definitely like a little low on the totem pole, but not too low. The dev team in particular, I really love that we get to know them, because when Yoshida has them visit on live letters, he explains what they do and explains who they are. And then to hear that one of these guys who's working on 14 is directing a Final Fantasy sequel, like 16,
a main title in the Final Fantasy series,
is just
that's exciting.
It's mind blowing because it's from his team, so we're hopeful that he will take from Yoshida and do more of a getting you ready. Maybe some more live letters. Now, of course, Yoshida might actually be doing these himself because he's producer, and he'll probably be doing a lot of the PR, which, by the way, I hope is fantastic. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be good. Because there's been some PR.
Make it not a repeat of the PR that we got here in North America for Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Because I remember there was like this one presentation with these two guys, and it was very obvious that they were told, be as pumped as possible. But it just came off as super fake and cringy, and just kind of turned me off a little bit from the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be the case for this one. Again, because Yoshida does have such a good track record with 14 of excellent PR.
Yeah. That stuff gets real funny. Funny for me. I don't know. I hope it gets funny for everybody, but it also gets me pumped because I know that they love what they do. And knowing that a team is in love with their project means a better project.
That's true.
I'm not saying that they weren't in love with their project before in the other Final Fantasies. I think 7 Remake in the end was definitely given as much love as possible, and it was just, for me, some of the music. I think for you as many other things, but we'll get into that in another video.
Yeah, that's a different chat.
But with 16, it feels like with the story, they just have something like big that they want to just like just share with the whole world, because they wanted to make a grand story. Hopefully no DLC that needs to explain the story, but we'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But yeah, that's who they are. They're really cool guys. Another thing is a dev excuse me, a man in the dev team for as a battle director. He was a battle director for Devil May Cry 5.
Yes.
But he was also a battle director for Dragon's Dogma, which I have not played, but I've heard really good things. And well, I mean, if you guys played any Devil May Cry, especially Devil May Cry 5, and I believe this is well, it's not gonna tell me.
Would you like me to take a stab at it?
No, that's the director of Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, okay. We're looking things up on Google as we're talking here.
Yes.
Just to make sure that we don't make ourselves sound even more stupid than we already do.
Well, you know what? I'm not even going to bother because we got a limited amount of time. All right, moving on. Anyway, tell me in the comments if you guys know who this man is. He, however, if he's doing the same kind of battle mechanics from Devil May Cry 5 and Dragon's Dogma, then we're more than likely going to be seeing a lot of action RPG moments. We're going to be seeing a lot of progression through that. It's not going to feel exactly like 15 or even 7 Remake. I think it's going to be its own little beast. It's going to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm. I think we probably kind of sort of touched on this slightly on accident, but what are some things that you're hoping to not see in this next Final Fantasy? Or what are some things that you're perhaps were unhappy with in other titles of the series that you really don't want to see carry over?
I don't want to see any more recipes. Oh god, I really don't. No more recipes of materia, no more recipes of anything other than just no. I don't want to see it.
I've come up with a new recipe.
God, it's yeah, it's
Are you telling me you didn't like Chadwick? I've done it. I've created a new materia.
Yeah, whatever. Hope with a monocle.
He does look exactly like Hope.
He does. He does.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Just throwing shade.
Well, we.
I mean, I'm worse at it than he is. I know. I'm aware.
Well, another thing. I don't want to see. Well, I've already told you what I don't want to hear. Mm-hmm. With the music. I mean, I don't want that wicka wicka wah wah. Time come boom doo doo. Yeah, I'm gonna be so obnoxious now. I'm gonna make you hear my song. Yeah. No. The only reason
you don't want to hear yourself singing in the soundtrack.
I do not. Unless
I don't think we have any issues with that.
Only
here.
one exception, and that is if Cloud's in a dress and he's dancing with the beautiful man, and that man is at the Honeybee Inn. No, it's not the Honeybee Inn. I'm sorry. Oh,
it is the Honeybee Inn.
Oh, is it? I can't remember the guy's name, but that was fantastic. Okay, that was one of the parts of
best
remake.
Sequences of the 7 remake.
I'm totally cool with funny sequences with that. I just if it fits the scene, 100% gonna like it. I might complain a little, but honestly, if it fits, then it's gonna be. I feel it's gonna be great. Visually, I want to see more story progress. Well, not this isn't actually visually. I'm sorry, I'm weird, guys. But story progression, honestly, character development. I want to see more. I don't want to just get to know those characters. I want to get to know as the world itself, and I want it to grow and become something that I grow to love and want to continue. I don't want it to be just like, oh, this is this, and wow, this is boring.
Kind of like, I mean, I can't personally speak to the when they redid all of the cutscenes and stuff, but I guess day one edition of 15, when you got to really know the playable characters, but then Luna Freya was just kind of there.
Yeah, I don't really.
And she didn't really get any character development until after she. Spoiler alert! Until after she died.
Bam, bam, bam. Yes, that is true. And then there were a few other aspects where we found out things from characters, and I mean, I don't know. The way. I'm gonna try not to pick on 15 too much, because 15 did have its really good moments. But there's a lot of things from 15 I don't want to see with this game. Like we just said, the character development. That's kind of there, but you have to watch an anime and you have to play another game.
I shouldn't have to look outside of the game in order to get to know things that are in the game.
And
it should all be a self-contained thing.
If you're going to give me DLC, add stuff. Don't have me understand, just understand what's going on in the background, but actually improve on the story more with the DLC instead of just trying to explain stuff with your DLC. Don't you agree?
Well, explaining things that didn't necessarily need explaining.
I mean, DLC period just to finish your game is frustrating. I understood why that happened with 15, and but with this one, I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that it's a lot more of a smoother process. And I know you're going to go into this in a minute, and maybe you can segue after, but I don't want this to take 10 years.
Exactly. That is one of the things I am fearful of is, will it take so many years, and then will we get a crap final product like has happened a couple of times?
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say crap final product. One that doesn't quite meet expectations that you would have if you've been waiting for a game for over 10 years. Again, I don't feel like that's going to be an issue with this because of the track record with 14. I really don't think that we're gonna get this game immediately. It's probably not for it's not gonna be in our hands within the next 2 years for sure. We're just not there yet. Especially since that trailer was rendered on a PC rather than captured from a PS5. So they're definitely still in the programming side of getting it ready.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh my gosh, I don't mind a video game being delayed if the delay means that the end product is actually better when we do get it. If you delay and delay and delay and delay, and then the end product is not a complete game,
she's not bitter at all.
Then I do have an issue with it. Also, if you're gonna make me pay additional money for part 2 of what should have been the complete game in the first place, That's a little irksome for me. But it doesn't seem like they're going to go the episodic route with this one. It seems like it's going to be its own self-contained thing.
Yeah.
I say now with the limited information we have on it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going off of the track record that 14 has. Because it's the same creative Division 3. I assume it's going to be of similar quality.
Yeah. I know a lot of you are thinking that it's going to, and I understand where you're coming from, but it really is in good hands in this one, I think.
I would say so. Another thing that I would really rather not see ever again is making me go through a very linear path for over half of the story, and then all of a sudden do a complete 180, and now it's nearly completely open world. Don't do that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with linear progression through a story, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with open world, but there is everything wrong with trying to pin the two together in the same game with very little transition in between. It just doesn't work. It's jarring to switch that. So whether or not this one is more of a linear story or whether it is more open world, pick one and stick with it, please.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's 100% all for it. All the above. Honestly, I'm afraid the villain's gonna suck. But I know the villain isn't, but I'm afraid we're gonna have a lackluster villain. And I feel like one of the best things about all the Final Fantasies is that so more of the most recent ones it's kind of felt like that, but the ones before, it feels like we get a villain that is like memorable. 14, we've had quite a few. And 11 even had one that was memorable that they brought over to 14, right? Obviously everybody remembers the villains from 9 and 8, and I think people remember 7. Do you think people remember the 7 villain? I can't remember.
I don't think Square Enix has allowed people to forget. Because, they keep... Yeah. He keeps reappearing in, everything. It's no.
He's gonna have his own mixtape coming out. I'm a Sephiroth, yo. I'm from Midgar. I'm gonna be a great meteor, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Everybody knows Kefka. Kefka is one of the strongest villains, I would argue, in the Final Fantasy series. Very memorable as well, obviously. You don't really forget a crazy clown.
No, you don't. Kind of reminds me of another crazy clown, but we're not going to go there. Because, well, let's just be honest, all clowns from everything, whether it's from comic books, novels, whatever, they're memorable because, well, they're crazy. Nothing like a sadistic sense of humor, but I don't know. I'm hoping for a Kefka. I'm hoping, but I mean, it doesn't have to be a Kefka. It just needs to be. I mean, how even Sephiroth was memorable, right? But I at least want, well, obviously he was memorable, but I'm making fun of him, but he was a big part of Final Fantasy VII. I want another villain who's a big part of this one. And I feel like that hasn't been happening. I know Arden was supposed to be that way, but...
And I don't even know who the F was supposed to be the villain in 13. I guess I didn't get that far. It's one of the only Final Fantasies I never beat.
Yeah.
I might do it for the channel, but we'll see. Don't quote me on it.
No, she's gonna do it. I'll make her. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be torture.
Leave a comment below if you would like to see me play Final Fantasy 13 and therefore completely just tear it apart as I play it, because I guarantee you that will happen if I do.
Actually, yes, she will. But actually, in fact, tell us if there's any of the Final Fantasies you want to see us play.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially if you want her to play 7 Remake. I think she needs to play it so she can experience the gameplay. The gameplay is amazing. It's amazing. It is amazing.
But the story sucks.
Wow.
The story was awful.
Okay. Put a pin in that. We'll go forward.
Again, that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
We're talking about 16 and what we think is going to happen and what we hope is and isn't going to happen. And other things about, being hyped.
Yeah! I also don't want a terrible... well, I say terrible, but I'm really just saying that I want something that stays consistent graphically, just the graphics in general. But I'm not really too worried about that. I know these weren't, as I mansplained in the video, was very down. You and
your mansplaining.
Yeah, well, it happens. But quick little thing. Speaking of graphics, and I have to say it, that final logo at the end, is it or is it not one of the best, if not the best so far, the best newest Final Fantasy logo, with the Phoenix and Ifrit just like
duking it out. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Just amazing. I think the only other one that was like super awesome was 12.
Yes, 12's looks nice. The one for Final Fantasy VI is very nice too. It was Terra in one of the Magitech thingies.
Yes. I mean, that personally, the artist, what was your artist's name again?
I think it's Yoshitaka Amano.
He's just amazing. I mean, I love 15s, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't meh. And 7 is obviously great. I love the Meteor logo. But it's just something about this that brings me into it. Kind of how I felt when I first played Final Fantasy X, or when I saw the logo for 10. It's like, it feels like that logo brings you in to the game. It tells you about it without having to have everything on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm hoping we get there.
Like what we see from this logo for 16 is a battle between icons, which definitely seems like it's going to be a very central theme.
Yeah, resurrection versus destruction.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That is a good point. That is a good ass point, actually.
And I'm not taking 100% credit on that one. I actually saw somebody say that once on a comment, and thank you for that, because that got me thinking. Because, I mean, if they're going to try to explain things, having him have Phoenix powers and him able to revive. Oh, you know what? That's another thing I want. If there is a party, I do not want the main character, if he dies, that we have to start all over. No. It is Final Fantasy. If there's a party, someone should be able to revive him.
Right? I agree. I thought that mechanic was really stupid in 13.
Mm-hmm. God. The trailer is just amazing.
It's very good. If we haven't said that enough.
I definitely am looking forward to the Devil May Cry Final Fantasy Edition. Devil May Final Fantasy, or Devil May Fantasy, or Final May Cry. Whatever you call it.
Phoenix May Cry.
Bum, bum, bum! I just hope that we don't have to wait a majority of 2021 to get another dump of what is this game about. And I don't think we will. I think we'll get a little bit more.
We might get more information. I'm going to guess, because we don't actually know when we will, but I'm going to guess we're going to get more in spring of 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a release date info dump.
No, definitely not.
I think we'll probably get another trailer and maybe a brief explanation of what the game is about.
If anything, I'm hoping that we get an in-depth gameplay experience. Typically we would with an expansion. If it was announced with the everything, then it would give us like gameplay after. But like when it shows you what all the jobs can do. So I'm hoping that is something that we get later. Yeah.
We're both super stoked for this latest installment in the Final Fantasy series, that is for sure.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for listening to our first Fireside Chat. I know we basically just rambled on and on. We tried to give it some structure, but you know, there is no structure in any conversation with Kool. You just gotta kind of go with the flow.
Oh, right.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either, but I think I proved her point. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Even if you don't really like it. No, I'm kidding.
Leave a comment below if you have an idea for what we could ramble on about for another 30 minutes in another Fireside Chat.
Yes, we'll try to have more of these, at least I'm hoping. And so is Kute. We
just talk about things.
Yes, so please look forward to it.
Yes, we will see you next time.
So be square or be there.
What?
Adios, muchachos. Bow.